Hello, Internet. I know I haven't really been uploading because my life has been kind of busy, as probably the title of this video gives away. I went through sorority recruitment. And before I say anything, before I even get into this, again, not like what? One person might see this video? I don't know. Uh, but in the case that more people see this video and that more are going to subject me to that, why are you paying for your friends? Let me give my rationale for doing this. Not that I owe anyone that. If I decide that I want to fucking rush because I like just being around a group of girls, then that's fucking fine. And you really, you can judge me, but you probably shouldn't because it's not that big of a deal. But anyways, so for me last year, I found myself really having this imbalance in social life and studying. I spent, surprisingly, a little bit too much of my time alone and studying. And it really weighed on me, and it really made me kind of, as I mentioned in my last few videos, kind of sad and a little bit depressed. And that just wasn't the state that no one really wants to be sad and alone all the time. So for me, I decided to do something to remedy that, and that was going through sorority recruitment. Also, I just want to throw out there the whole you're paying for your friends thing. I think being in Greek life is kind of parallel to any sports team. You pay to be a part of the sports team, right? You pay for jerseys, you pay for whatever equipment you need. If it's from a studio, if you're in a studio or whatever, you're paying to upkeep that studio. So you're paying for your friends as much as anyone in Greek life is. So, I don't know, I just want to get that out of the way. So I decided to go through sorority recruitment. And I do have some clips from before I kind of knew what house I was in, and I don't know if I'll throw them in here. I don't even know if I'll upload them. I did record things because I was just so excited. So, if I do decide to put those in, then you will have that. And I'm sorry, I don't know what my head is doing, what my hair is doing. It just looks like this big messy blob. I had it in a ponytail all day, and now it's being all weird. But whatever, moving on. So, I went into sorority recruitment not really having any expectations, and yes, I know the lighting is weird, and it gives me this weird kind of shadowy thing, but ignore that for now. So I went into sorority recruitment not really knowing anything about Greek life. I didn't know what a top tier house was, I didn't know what a PNM was, I didn't know what a ROGAM was, and all this kind of stuff. Obviously now I've gone through that, and I know what those things are. But for me, just to be completely honest, I wasn't like a person who went into this knowing I want to be in this house, and this house is top tier, and I definitely won't be in, I didn't go into it with any expectations. I just went in blind, unbiased, and excited. So if you've never been through sorority recruitment, I will tell you how they do it, at least where I go. And again, I'm not going to flat out tell you where I go, but, I'm not going to hide it. If you see some clue, I don't even have our flag up or anything. So if you end up figuring it out, whatever. Anyway, so where I go, we have 14 sororities, which, I don't know, I guess is kind of a lot, but not really compared to how many girls rush. We had about 1,400 girls rush, which is a lot. Yes, it is a lot of girls who rushed. And so, we first have Spirit Day. Well, actually, I'm skipping a little bit. So basically, you have a ROGAM, which is someone who has temporarily disassociated themselves from their sorority to be a ROGAM, which basically is just their job to be that person that if you have any questions about recruitment, if you are lost or confused or anything, that's the person, they gave us their cell phone numbers, so you text them. I texted one of my ROGAMs the first day on what to wear, and then after that I pretty much, kind of had it down for myself. And yeah, so for us, the first day was Spirit Day. And Spirit Day, I know at some schools they give you a shirt, but again, we had 1,400 girls, so that probably would have been way too many shirts to make. So, we just wore, something nice. And we went to each sorority. Now, our Spirit Day is broken up into 2 days since we do have so many houses. So, we had Spirit Day 1 and Spirit Day 2. Spirit Day 1, we went to 4 houses, and then Spirit Day 2, we went to the other 10. So basically, we just walked around, and you go to the sorority, you line up. For us, it was in alphabetical order for the first couple days, and then after Spirit Day, some of the houses put us in a certain order, which we really didn't know what it meant, and then most other houses just had us stay in alphabetical order. But basically, you line up, you go inside, and a girl will talk to you. So as soon as you walk in, there's someone there to kind of scoop you up and talk to you. And then you sit there, and for us, on the Spirit days, we were only at the house for 20 minutes, and then we left. So we went in, talked to some people for 20 minutes. Usually they try and rotate people, so you're not talking to only one person for a really long time, because what if you don't click with that person, or, you don't just want to base your whole decision on who you let into your sorority off of, one person. So then you go in, you talk, you leave. And then the next day for us was Philanthropy Day. And this day we were at the houses. Well, okay, first of all, so after we had seen all the 14 houses, we went to something called post office. I don't know what they call it at other schools, but we went through post office. And that was basically when, since we saw 14 houses, they had us pick a top 10. And these were houses that we said, okay, I mean, we didn't rank them like, this is the one I want the most, and the second most, and the third most. We basically just said, all 10 of these I would be happy to go back to, and then your bottom 4 were kind of like, no thank you. And even though they called it a mutual selection process, I didn't feel it was really all that mutual, for many reasons, and I'll talk about those a little bit later. Sorry, I thought that was my roommate. I don't tell people I do videos because, I'm fucking weird. What was I saying? Oh yeah. But, so the next day, which was Philanthropy Day, you could have a max of 10 houses. I only had 8, which meant that, like 6 of the houses dropped me. Is that right, math? I think that 6 of the houses dropped me. Which, honestly, after Spirit Day, I really wasn't all that offended. I didn't really take it personally, because these people only talked to me for 20 minutes. So I'm like, well, if, I really didn't know. So for me, I just wasn't, I didn't have my heart set on any. So then Philanthropy Day. So their philanthropy is basically the charity that they are involved with. So, we went to the houses, we would talk to them for about 30 minutes, and then we, saw their philanthropies, talked to people, and then, you come in, and then you leave. I don't think they did the chants. Did they do the chants on Philanthropy Day? They may have done the chants. Now, for us, they didn't just open the door and there were a bunch of girls, standing in the door chanting. For us, they started chanting right before they opened the door. So each party, we call them parties. So basically, which is just, the time you're in the house. So when you go to a house, that's a party. And so basically what would happen is, so we were all lined up at the door, and all the parties, all the sororities would open the doors at the same time and welcome people in. So basically, right before they were about to open the door, you would hear, chanting. And I know this sounds, yes, I think many of the sororities kind of acknowledge that this is a weird tradition, but I don't know, just go with it. So basically they were chanting, and then, there were still girls walking in, and the chanting got quieter as more of the girls had, walked off to go talk to someone. And yeah, so that was the chanting day. So, and then when we left is when they were in the door, clapping and chanting and stuff like that. It's less scary than it is on YouTube. I will tell you that. So yeah. Okay, then that was Philanthropy Day. Then we went from 10 houses to 6 houses. And then we had to wait a whole week. Because they broke ours up. Because Spirit Day 1, Spirit Day 2, and Philanthropy Day. So that was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we didn't really do anything during the week. Sorry if my voice sounds weird. And so we had to wait a whole week. And then we had Values Day, Preference Day, and Bid Day. So, on Values Day, you could have a total of 6, and I only had 3. So that was a little bit heartbreaking, because I had a house that, I was just so convinced I was going to get asked back to. I was so convinced, because every time I went there, they were like, oh my god, we're so happy to see you, and I was just heartbroken, because all the girls there I clicked with, and I love them, and I love the house, and, ooh. Yeah, again, sorry, my hair is doing, I'm sure you didn't even care at all. But, yeah, so I was just so completely heartbroken, because I was, clicking with the girls, and I had, looked up, here's the thing that really makes it heartbreaking. I had looked them up online, I had gone to their, national chapter website, I had gone to their, just their chapter website, and, yeah, I got really invested, and I just like, because I don't know, I love them so much, and I still do. I'm not salty, I get it, everything happens for a reason, but I was just super surprised because I clicked really, really well with the people there, and I don't know, it just gets confusing. So I was really heartbroken. That was my number one, but I still had my top two. I had three that day, but I got two of my top two, and one that was okay. The girls were super nice, super sweet, but I just felt like I didn't click with them as well as I did my other top two. So yeah, so I was one of those people that's like, I had my heart, set on a house, and they dropped me. So that was a little bit heartbreaking, but moving on. So then, on Values Day was also house tour day. So basically they take you on a little bit of a tour of the house, and all the houses, oh my gosh, amazing, beautiful, oh my gosh. And yeah, so I went through so basically this day, man, we spent 40 minutes in the house. So we still the same process, you go in, talk to someone, and then, at some point while you're talking to them, they're like, oh, we're going to take you on a house tour now. And then you go on a little house tour, and then you come back and start talking to someone. So yeah. And then that was preference day, when you knock it down to 2. And luckily on preference day, my top 2 I got back. So the people that I put as my top 2, I got back. And then the third one I just had dropped. So yeah. And then it's preference day. And preference day, we stayed with the houses for an hour, and this was really them, like, asking us to stay. This was them saying, we want you, this is why you should choose us, this is why you should be in this house. And so this was a day that they had food. Bless up. This was the day that they had food. And honestly, it was just like, I had like cheesecake and pie. So it wasn't like a 3-course meal, and like, it was literally just like cheesecake and pie. But yeah, so preference day for me, preference day is the most intense day. And I think this is the day, well, this has to be the day that you know what house you want to be in. For me, it was really, 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 really hard because I had 2 sororities that I just loved. I saw different, I could see myself being in both of them. Like, they both had really awesome qualities that I wanted to be in. And it was really hard for me to make a pick. And honestly, I literally just had to like flip a coin for who to put first, because it was just that tough of a decision. And I was luckily one of those, like, I didn't suicide bid or anything. And suicide bidding is when, on preference day, you have 2 houses. So you're saying, this is the house I really want to get into. This is my number 1. If they give me a bid, I will take it. And then your number 2 is like, okay, but if my first one drops me and they give me a bid, I will also take it. Suicide bidding is when you say, if my first house doesn't give me a bid, I don't want the second bid. I don't want to be in a sorority if I don't get that one bid. So apparently a lot of people suicide bidded, but I didn't do that. I would have been happy to be in either. And I don't know, I don't know. I don't want to really say which one I am in the process of pledging or being initiated into. I mean, I kind of should. I don't know. Maybe I'll like throw it in there somewhere. I'll leave a clue or something. But yeah, so for me, it was a really tough decision. But honestly, I'm really happy because, I would have been happy in either house. And I'm really super happy and stoked to be in the house that I'm in. Now, talking about like people dropping. So we started with 1,400 girls. And while officially, like, I don't know what these numbers are, people said that, like, we only have 800 now, so I don't know how accurate those numbers are, but a lot of people did drop. And a lot of people that I know dropped because they got houses back that they didn't want, which kind of goes back to that mutual selection process. Because is it really mutual if you keep dropping a house and they keep asking you back and you keep like having to go back there? Because just because you didn't want to go to a house didn't mean that you got to skip their party, because that's seen as really rude, and they would take you out of the entire recruitment process if you did that. So that's how that went. I know this is kind of like a shitty quality video and I'm probably skipping a lot of things, but yeah, I had a lot of people who dropped because of the houses that they were left with. And and I get it. If you just really don't like a house and you just feel like you aren't really clicking with the people, and then it starts getting to preference day and you realize that could very well be the house that you end up in and you're really unhappy with that, okay, I see it. But a lot of people kind of dropped, like, values day because, their top one house dropped them, so they didn't want to see anybody else. Which I think everyone keeps saying, trust the system. And the system, I will say, for the most part, works. Because most people who end up, well, of course, most people who end up sticking with it end up in a house because they stuck with it. A lot of people end up dropping, so that's kind of a paradox to say. But, I don't know. I feel like if you really, like, just know yourself. If you are hating the process, if you are hating all of this, if this is just something you already see yourself not liking, don't do it. Don't go through it. Don't do it. But if this is something that, for me, I was just kind of going out on a limb and trying something new, and so far I am extremely satisfied with my experience. Even just meeting people who were in my recruitment group, I have made some friends and people that I know I will want to stay in contact with, and even now after, I've gotten into my one house, still girls from other houses that I talk to see me and they're like, oh my god, where did you end up? Let's hang out. Let's, come over. And so it's still like, for me, just because I'm not in their house, I'm not going to be like, oh, I don't fuck with you now. Like, I met so many cool and nice people, and, even if I didn't end up sticking with it, I still feel like I would have met a lot of these cool people. Or, I still went through recruitment, but ended up maybe dropping or something. I still would have met these cool people. But, yeah, so I'm satisfied with it. But obviously, I'm one of the people that ended up happy. I know some people who said they, after Spirit Day, they only had one house because 13 houses dropped them, which is fucking crazy. But yeah, I mean, it's not a perfect process, and I'll be the first to admit that. It's not a great process for everyone, but I don't know, it's the system that we have in place. So that was my recruitment experience. This video was like almost 20 minutes. So if you are actually watching this and enjoy it, thank you very much. Maybe I'll do a follow-up video because I know, at least for where I am now, we don't get initiated until really late, which is like January, like a few months from now, which is a really long time. So I don't know. I don't want to kind of say, oh, I'm in this sorority if I'm not even initiated yet. But I have gotten a bid from a house I was very satisfied with, and once I've gone through the initiation process, I will be glad to say where I am. But yeah, so I don't know, maybe if you're going through recruitment, I hope that this was helpful, and yeah, thanks for watching.